Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Saturday Night Live. Saturday night. This is Saturday night. And I am Mr. Charles. I am an IT teacher by trade, technology enthusiast by night, by day, by whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to be going through some more online teaching stuff tonight for all of you teachers and parents out there who's struggling to fight through the new normal. Because of COVID, we have many new normals with respect to online teaching, and I am here to help, really trying to help. So a lot of you all have benefited from the previous sessions that we've had for a while now, and continuing to just do more and more things. So sticking with Google Classroom, which is almost the de facto tool that people use, platform that people use. And tonight in Google Classroom, I'm going to go through drag and drop labels in using Google Slides, and also how to use your rubrics to mark your things easier, or to mark things easily. So welcome. If you know how to share the link, share the link with people so that they will come in. And good night, everybody. All right, so welcome to my mods as usual. Ren, Jared, Javish, and Gio. I think Spanish is out tonight because he was moving, I think, and his internet connection was not solid, so we don't have Spanish moderating tonight, but don't worry. Javish, Jared, Ren, and Gio, they are fully capable of handling your comments and dealing with anybody that's unruly in the chat. So let's get into it. Planning not to spend a whole hour tonight. Let's see how this will work. Those of you who haven't liked the video as yet, you can click the little like button. It's a little thumbs up like that. More people that like it, the further YouTube will spread it to other people and recommend it to other people who need it. And if you have the capability to share, you can click the share button now and share that in your WhatsApp groups, share that in your teacher groups, share it in your parent groups, whatever it may be, because we're going to learn how some of the exercises are created and what is expected when the children do it, right? So share away, and let's get ready to go. Let's get started. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that you know how to set up Google Classroom already. That's an assumption I should be able to have. And I should assume that your Google Classroom works. You can get inside and you could do everything that you need to do. And from there, we're going to create the little assignment, and we're going to see how we could create something that children will just have to drag and drop the information, right? So let's go. All right, so we're onto my screen right now. If you do not know how to set up Google Classroom or set it up already, there will be a link to a playlist inside here. Let me see if I could find one of the mods. Will find a video where that's Jared or Javish or Ren or Gio. That's the video with where we had the 3,000 people in live. I think it's online learning, overcoming challenges or some kind of thing like that. So you could find that link and paste it for that person, Anthony Mayers, who doesn't know how to set up Google Classroom, right? Because we are assuming that people are able to set up their Google Classroom and they already have it working. And tonight I'm just trying to show. Yeah, Jarvis, that's the first one. All All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to create an assignment, and I'm going to create an assignment, and the assignment will be label the parts of the flower. All right. So you know normally that you'd have an assignment where you have to label the parts of a flower, and our favorite flower, the hibiscus, right? So I'm going to set the points to this to, I don't know, 10 maybe. And I'm going to go to create. And once I get to create, I'm going to create a slideshow, right? Slides are the equivalent to like PowerPoint, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to take this presentation and we're going to name it, please edit or label the parts of the flower, right? So I'll put that in. Yes. If again lag, it's because on a Saturday night everybody's streaming something and the internet connection just doesn't cooperate. Good now? Right, so we're going to put label the parts of the flower. That's the name of it, right? So I'm going to put label the parts of the flower below. Right. So that's one slide there. So now I'm going to create a next slide. I'm going to create a next slide, you have to click slide, new slide, right? Slide, new slide. Or you can press Ctrl and M, whichever one you want to do. Does it get bigger there? Yeah. So now I'm going to go on the slide and I'm going to change the layout of the slide to blank because all I want is a blank space. I don't want to put any words per se. All right. Oh, Javish is 23K views. Okay, cool. I thought, I don't know. There were 3,000 people live inside of it or something like that. Anyhow, what was I saying? I was saying that we're going to take this slide here and we're going to insert an image. So I'm going to go by insert image and I'm going to choose from the web, search the web. Now if I could find the picture on the internet, it'll be easier because I don't have to worry about any issues. So let's look for hibiscus. So I get a random hibiscus. Let me see. Okay, cool. Let's take this nice red one here because you know we love red in Trinidad. So I have this hibiscus flower here, right? And let's say I want students to label the parts of the flower or label the parts that they see. I could create an assignment where I'll put the arrows on the right-hand side and they will just be able to drag the arrows across. Now, this one is assuming that you have students that have laptop devices or tablet devices. This wouldn't really work too well with phones because the phones are, the phone screen is too small. But with laptop devices, you are able to, do this. So I'm going to insert a shape. So this thing here, this is called shape. So I click shape and I want an arrow. So I'll take an arrow that points to the left. And then when I click that, I will be able to drag and create the size of the arrow that I want. So the size of the arrow that I'm going to create is probably going to be about this size. Right, so that's the arrow there. And of course I could put things inside the wood. What are the parts of a flower again? I know for sure there's a petal. What is after a petal? There's something called the style, the stem, right? Okay, so I have one arrow, and basically what will happen is that the child will meet this assignment, and then they click on the arrow, and then they have to drag the arrow to where the thing is, and it'll point it like that. That's basically what we're doing. So what we want to do is we want to create multiple arrows that the child will be able to drag. So I'm going to click petal, and then I'm going to right click on this and choose copy and then paste. For those of you that know how to copy and paste by using Control C and Control V, you could do that also. So I'm going to create multiple arrows. So the reason I'm creating multiple arrows based on the first one to copy it is because I want to make sure the arrows are uniformed. If I added a new shape and I added a different arrow, I would have to kind of drag this arrow as best as I can to match the same size, which may not work out very well. So I'll get different size arrows, but I want the arrows to remain the same so that children wouldn't get confused to think one is bigger than the other. So I have the petal, but you'll see that multiple times, right? But that's okay. Now, we are assuming that I have the actual picture that I want, right? Remember, you could get the picture from anywhere, and you get it from wherever you need to, and you could have the correct picture. So I could have petal, and then I could have stigma, and anther. Ooh, look words taking me back to like standard 3 there. Some of you look like standard something teachers. There's something called the sepal. Alright, and what's our next one? Stamen. Right. Okay. So now I have these arrows here. You could create as many as you want. But remember, you're putting the arrows on the side here because you want the child to see which arrows they have available to them. And they're going to take the arrows and they're going to drag them across to wherever it needs to be. But you're not dragging it across. So you put in your picture here. And this could be done for biology. It could be done for basically anything. Once you have an image and you need to label it, you could put the image inside there and then you create the thing. So then I'll create a next slide. And I'll insert another image. And I'll search in on the web. And let's search for what's another flower that we usually use in primary school? Anybody? What's another thing that you usually label? Give me something. Give me something. Something that you label. Alana, you have a good question there. Do we save the flower as a background so the students don't move it around? Yes. It would be nice if you could save it as a background. So you could set the background to the actual flower if you want, yeah. That makes a whole lot of sense. That might make better, yeah. Hibiscus. So if we set it as a background, then the students won't be able to move it around. You are smart. You are smart. Right. So yes, so now I have that there. And then you have the things there. All right, let's get insect. Call this word by a grasshopper. That's when they have the abdomen and the thing on the thorax and the something. Okay, so I'll put the background as I'll choose an image and I'll search for image and I'll put a grasshopper. Right, so I'll set the grasshopper as the background. Like that. Right, and then I could go back to this first slide here and copy this arrow. And I could click on the arrow and copy it. And then go to this slide and paste. And then the arrow well, this one will say petal, but of course I'm not using petal, right? So I'll have petal. Give me the parts of our insect there before I embarrass myself. Because somehow I feel like I don't remember the parts of our insect. There is the antenna, right? Legs. All right, legs seem very Yeah. Yeah, you might be able to use head, thorax, and abdomen. All right, so we do head, thorax, and head, thorax. I'll put abdomen, right? All right. Now remember, you don't have to use an image that you got from the Google searcher. You could use your own image that you would have put in from wherever you got it from. So you could have a image that you have in on a sheet of paper. You could take a picture and insert it as an image. It won't really it wouldn't really matter too much. It will still work. Right. So I have this and it's labeled parts of the flower. So if I go back to my classroom, you would see I have the ability to choose students can view the file, students can edit the file and make a copy for each student. Right. So last week I showed you all how to make a copy for each student. So once I choose make a copy for each student, of course the child will get this. So the instructions will be drag the arrow to the correct to point to the correct parts of the flower and the grasshopper. Right. So I do that and then I click assign. So now it's assigned. Now I have to go onto my other profile. I have to go onto the student profile. Alright, just hold on 1 second here. Let me get to the student profile. You can ask questions in between. I need to log in as my student profile. Here, student profile. Questions. Why do this? Right. So today, can you make a video on how to use PowerPoint? I use it for my projects for school and it's kind of confusing. Is there one you can send me a link to, please? I don't think I've ever did a PowerPoint video. But yeah, for sure, I could do that for you, man. That's no problem. I will probably try to do something on it next week, maybe. All right, so now I'm going to go to this is my student account now. Student account will go label the parts of the flower. I click on label the parts of the flower and you will see that I get a Google Slides document on the right hand side here. So what I want to do is I want to click on it, which is mine. And when I click on it, it will open up the Google Sheets. And literally, it will give me the ability to edit the document that my teacher created with the arrows right there. I knew that. I knew you were not seeing the screen. I was just making sure that you were paying attention. Yeah, of course. All right. So, what I was saying is, when I go to my classwork, I will see the assignments and the assignments. I'll have label the parts of the flower. So when I click label the parts of the flower, I will see my own to open. And when I click open, it will open up like this, right? So now it's going to say label the parts of the flower, and the student is going to see coming up on the screen, the pictures will come up in the slides, right? So I click one slide and this is exactly what the students will experience. They'll experience a little lag and thing, but it will get there. Remember, when I'm streaming, my laptop just go crazy. It's be like, nah boy, we can't stream and do this and do that at the same time. So let's just take our time. Anyhow, so I got the assignment open and now I, as a student, will see this. And me now, with my smart self, will be like, hey, let me click the arrow and drag it to point at the parts. So I'll click on the petal and I will drag it across and the arrow for the petal will point there. Do I get a mark? Yes, I do. because I am smart. Now, this is where we're going to have a problem because can't remember for the life of me where the stigma is. So I'm going to take the stigma and I'm going to drag the stigma and point it right there because that's where I feel it is. The sepal will be somewhere in the back here, right? Behind the petal. So that's the best I could do because we don't have any sepals there. The stamen, well, not so much. I'm not even too sure if the stamen being shown inside this. But just for reference purposes, I'm going to take the stamen and point it to the pollen, right? Good. So me as a student, I put my arrows like that. And then I click the next slide, and I take the arrows, and I like, okay, cool. I'm going to put the legs. This must be the leg, right? This cannot be the leg.
It's from YouTube.
Yeah, that can't not be the leg. Then I have the antenna. Let's say I take the antenna and I put it there, because that's the antenna. You realize how easy it will be for the students to do, right? And the students will feel kind of fun, like, hey, look at dragging something. I'm feeling like I'm playing a game, something like that. And let's say I want to get the head. I'll take the head. And, well, that's the best I could get for the head. And the abdomen, well, based on my knowledge, the abdomen should be like right there. Now, the good thing is, with arrows, you could actually look at where the arrowhead is pointing. And wherever the arrowhead is pointing, it's easy to just mark it. So now, I could go and once I have done this, and I see last edit was seconds ago, that means it was saved. So when I'm finished, you let the children know, okay, when you finish, you close it. And then you go back to your assignment. You view the assignment. And then you will see that, of course, it was edited by you. And then you click turn in. One assignment will be submitted, blah, 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 turn in, right? So we're going to flip back to the teacher side now. On the teacher's side, which is here, I will see label the parts of the flower. When I click on label the parts of the flower, I will see that, well, one student is turned in, of course. Right, so the student turned in. Y'all don't forget to like the video. For those of y'all who just joined, please make sure you click like, because that will help the propagation of the video to people that need it on YouTube. So when I click view assignment, I am going to see the child's work. So in order to see the child's work now, I can just click. And boom, it's going to show me the work that this child did. Now remember, when multiple students submit assignments, all you have to do is click the drop down arrow and you'll be able to choose the different names here, right? But there's only one child in the class right now, and that's me. But in this one-stop shop, you will be able to look at the child's work and determine if they put the things in the right place. And all you have to do as the teacher is you just have to watch the left-hand side here and click on it. And you will see where the child put the arrows for the flower. Alright, so exactly how I did it on my side is exactly what the teacher will see here. And all I have to do is watch it and then be like, hey, put the marks. Alright? And that is a very simple way of creating an exercise where you just use pictures, create arrows, send it to the children, and all they have to do is label the different parts, because this will replicate those exercise books where you have the picture of something and then they have to write on the line what the name of that part is. Well, this will take it to another level where you actually drag the arrow with the names in it and they have to choose which one is the correct one. Alright, so that is the assignment. I could mark the assignment, I could post it, I could leave comments, I could do whatever I want because it's using Google actual slides. So I'll take questions now before I show you all something. I have a demonstration of I'm going to unbox a Chromebook today for y'all. A Chromebook from a children. While y'all waiting there, the technology class for adults started today, so let me just, give you all a little.
Of all the girls she like, I want to do Zoom. Me tell they want to do Zoom. I don't know about this Zoom thing, For years, but on the Zoom, I don't test computer, Test on it. I'm sorry, bye. Yeah. Come Tell some how to put on the Zoom, please.
Oh gosh, all you gotta do is just click the
Look, don't give me instructions. Come and show me. I tell you to figure it out.
Oh gosh, just put.
This is now in the room. All they do is just come and show
Take your time
me.
now, Granny. Just put the meeting code and press the
Press it.
password. No, the meeting
What?
code. You gotta put the meeting code and then
I
the
don't
password.
understand what you're saying.
They have a meeting code and a
Come
password.
and show me what to do.
Oh
You
gosh,
have no patience.
it's every minute so you have to be calling
But
me.
what is this thing?
Look, just put the meeting code and the
Press it.
password and
I
look,
can't-
I think I show you
But
hold
what
the
is
phone
this?
upside down. You see me? It's every day so
But what is this at all?
I done. I won't find somebody to help you. Right?
You give up. I should have given up on you a long time. I never give up.
Oh gosh,
Look at this thing.
every minute so. Alright, so it falls into that category of tech literacy, needing tech literacy. There is a link in this description here. You could go to register at at makeITsimpleTT.com/register. And first class started today, and it was very, very, very it was wonderful. They loved it, and they learned a lot, because just as I explain things here, I go twice as hard when I'm explaining in a class that people are paying for, because I believe that your money is worth something. And when I explain things, I explain with great patience and understanding to make sure that you understand. So the first class today was wonderful. I don't know if anybody who is here in the live was in the first class, but registration is still ongoing, so you could fill out the form, or you see now that number at the bottom there, 308-8799. You could WhatsApp that number and we'll get there. All right, so let's get to the questions that I missed. Alison, why do I have to click make a copy for each student? Not sure about that feature. Okay. When you click make a copy for each student, what happens is on the student side, they are going to see their name in front of the document. If you don't click create a copy for each student, that means everybody is going to be editing the same document, and you don't want that to happen, because they'll have the same slide and every single person is going to be editing it at the same time. But you see here, my name, Andre Charles, well, Andre DJ Strong Charles, and then the part dash. Remember, the original name of the document was label the parts of the flower, right? Look here. The original name of the document is label parts of the flower. But when I click create a copy for each child, the name of the child is going to be appended at the front of it. That way, when I get it back to mark it, which is here, I will see their name and what they turned in for it. So when you do that, you create the ability to create one template, and then that template is copied for every single child in the class, and you will only see their edits when you go to correct it, which makes life a whole lot easier, because it's kind of like making photocopies, but you're not actually making photocopies. You understand? So I hope that answers your question there, Alison. That's basically what you're doing when you're making copies, right? Well, you're basically making copies. So we're going to choose that. All right, next, right, yeah. So now I'm going to show you okay, let's say we have these things here and we want to create a rubric for it, right? So let's say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9 marks or 10 marks. Yeah, I could easily count these things and be like, okay, this child got 8 out of 10 because of where they put the things. But there is a way that I could create a rubric that will show me where the marks are applied, and when the students get their marks, they will see where they lost marks. So in order to do that, I'm going to create a new assignment. So go and create this new assignment. I'm going to show you a lot, and then I'm going to show you all what a Chromebook, a Lenovo Chromebook Duet looks like in by unboxing it, right? I think this will be my first unboxing video ever. I feel like unbox therapy. Call me Lou. That's way above most people's heads. Okay. So I'm going to click label the parts of the flower, and I'm going to edit the assignment. So let's assume I created this assignment, and no problem, I've done that. This little button on the right hand side here called Rubric, right? Let me zoom in a little bit so y'all can see it. Rubric. Alright, for those of us who've gone to teacher training and whatnot, you know that a rubric is basically a breakdown of how things are going to be marked. And the breakdown of how things are going to be marked is necessary because what happens is sometimes students need to know where they lost marks and why they lost it, right? So I'm going to click on Rubric, and when you see the rubric here, I will create a rubric. Create a rubric means that I am going to score certain things based on points. So Mandy Marshall, I will get back to you just now on that question. Let me just finish this and then I'll answer general questions, right? So a rubric is going to lay out the things. So I'm going to say legs. The description is student has the arrow on the legs. How much points that'll be? 1 point. Then I have the next criterion. Then I have abdomen. And in abdomen, I'm going to put student has arrow on abdomen. Right? So you know what a rubric is? Like a rubric is basically saying what the marks, what the mark is allocated for and what you are looking for the mark. And I'm going to set that as 1 point. I'll just do one more just to make sure that everybody grasps it. And then antennae, whatever it is, arrow on the antenna. And that's 1 point. So when I click save, now the rubric is going to show that this test is looking for 3 marks, right? Of course, it's going to be looking for 10, but for just these purposes, I'm going to leave it as 3, and the rubric says 3. So now I click save, and I'm going to update the point value. Now watch what will happen when I go to mark the child's work now. So when I go to mark the child's work, I'm going to what is turned in. So I click on turned in, and then I'm going to click on the, I'll change that, remove that from there. Right, so I'm going to click on the assignment. This is from the teacher's side, of course, right? So on the teacher's side, I'm going to click on the assignment. Then you are going to see on the right hand side you have rubric. So the rubric says legs. What am I looking for in the legs? Well, I'm looking to make sure that they have the legs there. So if they give the correct answer, that's why I'm gonna take this 8 out of here and not have any mark there, right? Good. So if they give the correct answer, I put 1 out of 1 because I can see that they labeled the legs properly. Then I go to the abdomen. Did they do the thing for the abdomen? I put 1 mark there. Do they do the thing for the antenna? I put 1 mark there. Cool. And automatically you realize that the marks are being updated in the total. So you realize it's already changed to 3 out of 3. So I don't have to actually put in the total mark. I just go through the rubric, and each part of the rubric I'm putting if I see the things that I said that they're supposed to put. So once I put the information in, so notice if I go and change the abdomen from 1 mark to 0 marks, now this rubric could be applied to anything because remember we are teachers, so we understand how to do that. Notice the mark changed to 2 out of 3 because I put 0 for abdomen because that arrow was probably in the wrong place. 1 for antenna, and 1 for legs, and it automatically said 2 out of 3. Now, when I finally finish marking, I can click return. When I click return, it will send the mark to the child. So I click return, and now I'm going to go to the child side and show you what you will see. So that was returned. So now I'm going to go to the child's side, and in the parts of the flower, you could see that Miss or Sir sent back my work and it says that I got 1 out of 1 for the legs, because I was correct. I got 0 out of 1 for the abdomen, and I got 1 out of 1 for the antenna. And now the child will see where they actually lost marks. And of course, if you want to go further, the child could be like, so, sir, why did I lose the mark? And the child will ask a question, and then I'll go back to the teacher side now, and I will see that the child left a comment for me asking me why they lost a mark. And then I could respond based on the rubric that you lost the mark because you didn't pay attention, or the arrow wasn't on the right place, or the arrow was slightly off, or some kind of thing like that. All right, I'm gonna see the comment send. Yes, it was sent at 8:36. So back to the teacher. I will probably need to close this and then open it. Go back to the right. So if I refresh this here, I should get back the I should see the comment that the child put. And the teacher feedback is going to be at the bottom here. So when the child opens it, so when the teacher opens it, they will see the mark that they give them, and if the test has different sections, example multiple choice and written, can it also be done? Yes, you could have layers in your rubric. So let's say I want to edit the rubric for this test. So I go by instructions, and then I could click on edit. So in the rubric, you could add levels. Look at this, right? This is a little advanced, but I could click on this rubric here, edit the rubric, and then you will see level title. So this will be section 1. So I could change that to section 1, and then I could create a different level, like question 1. Oh no, I created that one already. I need to add a new one, sorry, my bad. Oh no, I started using the rubric already. Okay, so once you use the rubric, you can't really edit it after. Once you mark the paper, you can't edit it after, right? So let me create a new rubric. Let me go back and create a new assignment, just for creating a new assignment's sake. Because I want to show you all that you could create a double layer rubric. So I'm going to create an assignment, and the assignment will be whatever. I don't really care too much. So I'll just create it as a docs assignment. No problem. The docs will pop up. I have no time for that. And now I want to create the rubric for it. So I'm going to give it a name, test doc assignment. And now there's a name. I should be able to create a rubric now. Good. So I'm going to click rubric. So when I click rubric, I'm going to create the rubric, and now you see these things called levels. So I could create the first one, which should be section 1. Section 1 is worth 10 points, and the level is question 1. So when I click this plus sign here, I'll get add level. So question 1 is worth 10 points. Then I could be question 2, which will be worth the next 10 points. And then I can add another level, which will be question 3. 10 points, right? So I have each one of those. These 3 marks here will fall as a subset of section 1. So the point values have to be unique. So I'm going to say that this one is 5, this one is 7, and this one is 9. Okay, cool. So now when I click save and I go to mark the assignment, you will see that each student is going to have the ability to submit their stuff. So nobody turned it in yet, but I'll try to mark one of them just for y'all to see. Right, so I have section 1. I could put in how much marks they got for section. They got the first part for section 1 correct, and then they got the next part correct, and then they got the next part correct. And then I'm able to choose between the different marks that I give. So I could break down the rubric into different sections and say how much marks they got based on what they did. Because remember, sometimes you could give a rubric 2 to 3 marks is very high competency, 4 to 6 marks is kind of okay, better, and 6 to 10 marks means excellent or something like that. Right, so all you have to do is choose one of the 3, and it will tell you how much marks they got based on the rubric that you created. So that's usually like English or something like that, where it's kind of subjective. Student exhibited high competency. You'll get them the mark range that is 8 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll just choose 1 out of the 5, and that's all. You just have to click a block, so you could do that. All right, so that was in response to one of the questions. Trisha Henry, if the test has different sections, example, multiple choice and written, can this also be done using a rubric? Yes, it can. All right, so let's go back to some of the questions now. That's basically rubric usage. I'm going to explain. Mandy Marshall, what settings I need to change so that the student doesn't have to email to request access to materials that I post in Google Classroom? When you go into Google Classroom and you create material, you just have to create the material inside there. And once it's here, it's automatically shared with the children. What you have to make sure is that you have all students selected here. And once the material is created, they will be able to view it. They won't be able to edit it because material is material. Material is not about editing files. Material is just for them to be able to see. So they should be able to view it. If you want them to edit things, then you can't create it as material. You have to create it as an assignment. And then when you create the assignment, you will choose whatever type of document it is. And for them to edit it individually, you have to make sure you choose make a copy for each student. And then they won't have to request access because you made a copy for each student. So Mandy, I hope that explains your question. Kezia Kamabach, I created a slide and they were asking for access. If you want to create a slide for them to each person to individually use, please make sure you select create a copy for each student. Katharina Pierre, how to mark submitted assignments in Google Classroom. Well, I just showed that. That's basically putting the marks in the rubric section, and they will get their mark. If the test has different sections, right, answer that. Would this simply work with Google Classroom, or it must have G Suite? This is Google Classroom normal. This is free Google Classroom. This is me using my free Google Classroom account, and it's working right now. So you don't need to have G Suite. G Suite doesn't make this any different. Trisha Henry, the document with the rubric must be created in Google. Well, yeah. Because if you create the document with the rubric in some other place, you won't be able to fill it in. You'll have to fill it in manually. So you have to actually, create the rubric inside here. The good thing is once you create these rubrics once, these assignments you could use for years to come because you have the assignment and you have the rubric. So because we're forced to do all this hard work now, we could set the standard for all the different years to come, and we could create the rubrics one time. The material must be in classroom folder, or it will have requests. Yes, but once you create the material in the classroom, you'll have no problem. Once you click create material and you are in the classroom, everybody that's in the people section in this classroom will have access to it. So all the people that are there, they'll just automatically have access to it. You don't really have to work hard for that. So once you create the material in the classroom, it should work without any problems at all. Roxanne, if I correct worked on my phone, it opens up in an editable off, so I can put a tick mark. Is there a way to get that on your laptop? No, you can't get the tick mark on your laptop. The only way you can get the tick mark is on your phone or a tablet, because the picture will open up and you'll have the little color thing at the bottom, but that doesn't happen on a laptop. On a laptop, you could only use the comments option, which is something I'll plan to do next week. Yeah, next week I'll show you how to comment on devices. All right, keep asking your questions while let's now put the chat up. Getting the chat. How to create a worksheet for students to write on it. Yeah, I use Microsoft Word to do that. Not Microsoft Word, Google Docs to do that. I did that last week, so you can check the video from last week. One of the mods will post the video for you, and it'll show you how to create the document for them to actually type in it and submit it. Last week I did that. I did multiple choice or something like that. All right, so I'm going to be unboxing this right before your eyes. This is one of the recommended devices that I have in the comments. The recommended devices, which is a Lenovo Chromebook Duet. Let's see what this thing has in it, which is literally bubble wrap. Not the bubble wrap. Alright, so this one I bought refurbished. I didn't buy the original one. Well, I couldn't buy the original one because they didn't have it in stock anymore. So it comes with a headphone jack to USB-C, a USB-C cable, and a power brick. This power brick looks like it's I don't know, probably a quick charge. And I have the quick start guide. Yes, I'll scan this barcode and it will quick start. But this here is the guy. This is the Chromebook Duet that I've been recommending for students because it's really small. It's sturdy. Watch how sturdy. It's sturdy. Not really. It could take a little lash. And then when you open it up like this, there is a keyboard. Whoa! Look at that. So this is a tablet, and you realize this thing boot up already, right? It's on. It is on. I didn't even have to, like, fight it. There is no fight. It's on. And with a Chromebook, all you have to do is sign in with your Gmail address, and boom, everything just works. Because it's made by Google, Google Classroom works, Google Meet works properly. You could even download Android apps on this because this thing comes with like 64 gigs of storage. Like, you really have no issues. And this here has a back camera. So if they have to take pictures of their assignments, they could take pictures of their assignments. There is, of course, a front-facing camera for them to do their classes with their webcams. It is a touch screen, so they could take their fingers and touch the screen. If they have to do what's called this thing? Assignments or whatnot, like what I did. The keyboard is keyboardish. Right? It's a little flexible, but I mean, children don't really care too much. So the keyboard will take a little lash like that, and it works. And it's pretty small. So it's not going to take up too much space in their bag or whatnot. But I don't really want to let my son fight down with this. And the back has a kind of fabric. See this little fabric feeling here? So it's not going to be glass where it's going to scratch and all that stuff. So this is literally one of the best things for a student, right? This costs me $2,000 TT, right? Because the taxes are off on tablets and computers. When you order this from Amazon, I ordered it on Amazon. It was about 300 US. So it's 300 US. Yeah, so you multiply that by about 6.8 or 6.5, 6.7, whatever it is, the conversion rate, and the shipping costing about $100 because the box small now. Because it's a small box like this, it's not really going to, your shipping, your freight fees not going to be too high. So yeah, it's probably about 200, maybe 2100, 2000, maybe 2100, and this is what my son is going to start using. Before, like, even though I'm like a tech guy, he was basically using an old laptop because that's all I had at that point in time, and he needed to get his work done. So I basically take an old scrappy laptop, fight to fix it to make sure it works, and now he was doing his class for the past month, but I knew he needs something better, so I ordered this. It took a while to come because customs was giving trouble, but yeah. So this is a Lenovo Chromebook Duet in person. If you want to order it for yourself, you could just click on the link in my in the description of this video here. So like when the live is finished, or you could even do it right now. Close the chat and you'll see the description. You will see the link to our Chromebook Duet, and you click on it there, and you'll get it for almost the same price that I got it for. And if you're in the Skybox scheme and thing, you could send it to your Skybox. You're getting this. I don't know. These days they're taking like about 2 weeks to get stuff, but not a problem. Good thing about this is that it charges with USB-C. So there is no proprietary charger that you have to say, you know, if the child lost the charger, they'll be like, oh gosh, anybody have a charger for a Chromebook Duet? And then you had to go and pay $300 to get a specific charger that looks like, that probably looks something like this. And you have to get only this charger because they have specific pins and all that kind of thing. No, this charging with USB-C. So basically, USB-C, any USB-C charger you have, you will be able to plug this in and it will charge. So the same USB-C charger that you have charging your phone, like if you have any one of the newer Android phones, well, Apple phones do use USB-C, so you basically just have to live with that. But any of the newer Android phones, they all charge with USB-C, not micro USB. So you could charge this anytime. And guess what's the battery life on this? Anybody? Guess what's the rated battery life on this? Guess. Well, you could probably Google it, but I just let you know. No. Real life in the flesh. Alright, and this is just to prove to you that I don't recommend things that I don't buy. So all the list of things that I have recommended in my YouTube links, I mean in the description, I am willing to buy it for my child. 1 week. Now the battery life is 15 hours. So 15 hours. Once you start, when I say battery life, meaning like when you start to work on it, you don't need to charge it until 15 hours later. 3 days, You know, that's a lot. Like, you can't really work on a device for 3 days straight. What this means, once it's charged in the morning, your child goes to school with it, goes to online class with it. They will start doing their work, and they won't have to charge it until in the night. It's kind of like your phone. Following me? Everybody cool with that? Right? So, you can click the affiliate link in the description if you want to buy it. And if you're not good with the Skybox and you don't know how to order things, you could message me. And how is this compared to a Kindle Fire? Way better than a Kindle Fire. Let me say it one more time. Way better than a Kindle Fire. What I've realized, based on many schools that I've talked to in the past few days, because a lot of schools would have asked me to come and talk to their parents and all that kind of stuff, is that a lot of parents started buying Kindle Fires because they're like, all right, this thing is $600, I'm buying one. I'm buying one. My child have to do online classes. And then you realize that the Kindle Fire doesn't play well with Google Apps. Then you have to sideload the applications. And after you sideload the applications, Google Meet keep closing. You can't get to the Play Store. Google Classroom doesn't open properly. All kind of stuff, because a Kindle Fire was never made for online schooling. A Kindle Fire was made for you to consume Amazon services. And if you needed to consume Amazon services, a Kindle Fire is what you would get. But we do have Amazon Prime Video. You could read Kindle books, and you could download some apps, but it's from the Amazon App Store. It's not the Google Play Store. So a Kindle Fire is not really recommended for online schooling. I've been telling a lot of people that, but most people went out and bought it because they heard my child need a tablet for school. Because my child need a tablet for school, I'm going to buy a Kindle Fire. Now, you may be stuck with a Kindle Fire and you can't actually use it for online schooling very well because it gives a lot of problems to do the online schooling because it simply wasn't made for that. A Kindle Fire is just basically a consumption device. So, does this work with Microsoft Teams? Yes, it could work with Microsoft Teams, but the web version. You could download the Microsoft Teams app also because the Play Store is here. Basically, the Play Store will give you the ability to download any app. So you could download Zoom from the Play Store, you could download Microsoft Teams from the Play Store, and you'll just be using the mobile version on this because this acts like a tablet and a computer. So I recommend this a lot for primary school children. Primary school children will be able to utilize this well because they will get both the tablet aspect and the keyboard aspect too. So primary school children will do well with this. In secondary school, well, I recommend you buy a Windows laptop because they might have to install programs on them. But lower secondary school children, they probably don't have to install any programs, but Form 4, 5, maybe 6, they have to install programs, more than likely Windows programs. So for the secondary school students, they might want to look at the Lenovo Ideapads. But the reason I recommend Lenovo, and my mods will start to laugh at me because they will think that I'm sponsored by Lenovo. Because we get warranties honored in Trinidad and Tobago. A few people had some issues with their Lenovos, and I just sent them straight to the local dealer in Trinidad, and boom, they got it fixed, or they're in the process of getting it fixed because that's just how it works when you have the warranty honored in the country that you are in. So you could check the links in my in the description of this video. I think I've elapsed my 1 hour time limit that I've set for myself. I want to thank you guys very much for coming here. Remember, the links in the description to this video are there. And you could subscribe to this channel. If you haven't clicked subscribe yet, go and click the subscribe button. The subscribe button is a big red button named subscribe. Like, you can't miss it. For those of you that didn't like the video, you can like the video now. It looks like a thumb like this. And for those of you all who are interested in the Chromebook Duet, which is what I recommend for primary school children, because it gives them the ability to have a tablet and a keyboard device, and it just works seamlessly with Google Classroom and whatever streaming service you want to use. This is very good for primary school children and lower secondary school children. And as I said, I got this personally for about $2,000, maybe $2,100 if I push a little bit, right? So you guys, you have it at your fingertips now. everybody, have a great night. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to my mods. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, we're streaming Among Us again. Because my mods are cool. My mods are cool. And I struggle to be as cool as them. Even though everybody does be like real suspect. Was that Ella Murray? As a teacher, can I use this? No, I don't recommend you use a Chromebook as a teacher. If you're using a Chromebook as a teacher, you have to make sure that all you do is just use Google Classroom and Google Meet. If you're using Google Classroom and Google Meet, then yes, this may work for you. But as a teacher, if you have to prepare a lot of work and stuff, you might need a Windows laptop because you have a lot of different things to do Windows-wise. But as I said, my wife has a Chromebook and she uses it perfectly, but she does all her stuff on Classroom and Meet, and everything is done within the browser. She doesn't use anything other than that. So she has a Chromebook, and I knew she would be able to use it because I knew what she was using to teach. So if you know you're only using Google Classroom and Google Meet, you will not have much of a problem with Chromebook. Chromebooks will work well. But if you want to go into all the different things with Zoom and Microsoft Teams and whatnot, you might end up needing a Windows laptop because those will be able to install the actual program for you. So just to let you know. But the Chromebook works. If I didn't have to do all the things I had to do, I would be using a Chromebook. But obviously, some people have different things to do with their devices, so you need to make sure that you kind of take that into consideration. Right, so yes, thank you very much, everybody. It was a pleasure having you again. Don't forget to like and share this video. Share it with whoever. The link for the video, it's easy to share. You just see an arrow that's kind of pointing to that direction. And I will see you all next week, Saturday. Same time, same channel. And we'll continue to teach more things. The more things, there's so many more things we could do in Google Classroom, so don't worry, we'll get there. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Bye-bye.